Welcome back to PSC Camper Conversions. Today we're going to talk about electric scooters for campers. So this is going to be the perfect way and the most compact way to take personal transportation with you when you go camping, no matter what size your camper is. Now, in the previous video, we looked at options for electric bikes. And there's a link here if you'd like to go back and look at electric bikes. There's a great video on that. And this is also part of a much larger series on options for personal transportation. And I'll put a link here above to that one where we talk about an overview of everything, all the videos that we're going to do on gas bicycles, the electric bike, then gas scooter, electric scooter, and then electric skateboards. But in this video, we're going to look at these great electric scooters. And you'll see these now. You'll see these now in big cities where they rent these out and you can just take them all around the city. And they have a lot of great advantages. For those of you familiar with my channel, this is Ghost. This is my Prius stealth camper, which I've gone to some wonderful places, and it is the cheapest, easiest, most economical way to camp. And so inside here I have my bed, and what I love about this scooter is look how well it fits in here. I found it was best to unlock the handle from the rear tire, and then I can angle this right back in here. I still have plenty of room to stuff things back here, in between here, and up in here. So as far as portability, I can go somewhere and just pull this thing out and go travel, have fun, put it back in. It's just so simple to use and so compact. Now this particular one is, I really got the best one. In my opinion. This is by Segway, and it's the Ninebot, and this comes out in 3 different versions, and then they've also got a new one they're coming out, which is the Max, and we'll talk about that. So one of the options out there is by the Boosted company. They're famous for their boosted electric skateboards. They're very high quality, very fast, and also very expensive. They make an electric scooter called the Rev. It has these are all the quotes by the manufacturers. It has a top speed of 24 miles per hour, so it's probably one of the fastest ones out there, but yet it only has a rated distance for 22 miles because everybody's going to be, I guess, riding it fast. But it only has a rated distance of 22 miles. And as I mentioned in the previous video, the way you can kind of come up with the distance figures is assume a 150-pound person riding in the slowest setting, the econo settings on flat ground. And so if you're going to be anything more than that, heavier, faster, hilly, then you're going to need to subtract for the distance. But generally the top speeds I found to be pretty accurate. Now as far as the Segway series, their first level one is the ES1, which was the original version of the one I've got. I'm not a big fan of it. It was their first attempt at it. And it has a top speed of just 12 miles per hour and a rated distance of 15 miles. However, it only weighs 25 pounds. Now, what they did is they came out with the ES2, which was where they fixed a lot of the problems with the ES1. I think it's a much better board, and I'll show you some of the features of that. It has, and it's actually this scooter, but minus the extended battery. So it's rated at a top speed of 16 miles per hour. At a distance of 15 miles, weighing 28 pounds, about 3 pounds heavier. So what they did then is they came out with an extended battery that you could put on the ES2, and that is what became the ES4, which is the one I got, and it has a top speed of 19 miles per hour, which I easily hit, and a rated distance of 28 miles, weighing 31 pounds, so it's a little bit heavier. Now they have they're about to come out with the Ninebot Max. It is rated at, it's slower, rated at a speed of 15.5 miles per hour top speed. But what they've done is they've made the battery compartment a lot bigger. They've put the battery compartment down below in the bottom. But now they can get, they're estimating 40 miles distance, so a good bit farther. And it's also a little bit cheaper than the ES4. But what I really like about, let's go over when they changed over to the ES2. So they're ES2 and ES4, they're the same unit. So up here you have this is your throttle, and this is your brake, and it's regenerative braking. This is your control panel, and that's going to give you some information about your speed and charge level. And so what I love about this design is it's incredibly simple. If you look at the competition to this, including the Max, you have these big clunky brake levers here, and they're mechanical brake levers. You have your cables all running down here. It looks, and it really screams, hey, I'm an electric scooter, and it's just bulky, and I just love the simplicity of this. This one has the controller, and it has the main battery all in the stem right here. So if you get the ES2, the difference is you don't have this battery, but you can always add this battery later. It's quasi-removable. Once you put it on, you're really not going to want to take it off because of the way it's screwed on. Now what's kind of neat is, since it's two batteries, it has a really smart, intelligent controller, and it charges the battery separate. And then when you're going, it has intelligent usage of how much of each battery to use, so it doesn't just connect them together. This one has a separate button you can push and see what the battery is on that, but you really don't have to worry about that. It will manage all that, and then you only have to plug it in one place to charge both batteries. Okay, let's go over the app for the Segway Ninebot, and on the first screen what you see is two little blue bars there that shows that one battery has 73%, the other battery has 72%. It shows the remaining mileage being 20 miles. I'm assuming that takes into account how aggressive, how fast I was going in the first quarter of that, and projects that forward. Not exactly sure, but I hope it would do that. Also, we have our energy recovery level that we can set right here. I have it set on weak. You can turn on and off your cruise control. You can also make the rear light stay on all the time. If you go over into the settings, if you swipe right here, this will show you a little bit more on the mileage. It'll show you how fast you're currently going, and how far, the total miles that you've gone, and how much miles are remaining. So let's look up here in settings. You have the vehicle settings, which we just saw on that other screen. You have the lights, which is pretty cool. You can customize the lights. You can make them dynamic breathing. There's LEDs underneath the board, and I'll show a quick photo here of what that looks like. But you can set here all the different things of how you want that to react. I'd leave it off just to save battery. I don't think it probably uses battery, but at night it might be kind of cool. So here is, if it's in the limited mode, you can set the maximum speed. You can do your firmware update and the basic information. You check your firmware number, and then your other one here is just more detailed information about your battery. So battery number 1 and battery number 2. So decent, basic. The most helpful thing I have is you can pull this out of your pocket, check, and say, okay, I got about 20 miles left. Here's some of the neat features that they came up with the ES4. So you have your suspension. For your front suspension is right here. This is your clip here. This even swings up out of the way, which I think is really nice so you don't accidentally step on it. And the board is so thin. Now on the Max and on almost all the others, this is where they put the batteries, and you'll see the batteries will just hang way down, so you don't have much clearance. This has pretty good clearance. I think it has really good clearance for a scooter, but you can see how thin this is. So on the bottom here, you have a very beefy suspension. You can see how well this is, and this is all solid metal, extremely well built. These are solid rubber tires, and the front one up here, this is where your motor is, and you can see now. Some companies have gone with the pneumatic tires, and those have gotten really bad reviews because look how much time and effort it would take to disassemble this thing and replace the tire. So people were complaining, hey, I'm getting flat tires. I have to order a very specialized tire that's not cheap. I have to disassemble this thing, put it back together, and you're also going to have a flat tire while you're going back. So the only reason to go to a pneumatic tire is to improve the ride quality. But what I like about this one, you've already got suspension here and suspension here to improve the ride quality, and you're not going to get any flats. You don't have to worry about replacing this. I suppose in time this will wear down. I haven't looked into what you would have to do to replace this, but I don't think it's going to happen very often. So another neat feature is it has a little headlight here, which also turns on the taillight. So you have that feature. Alright, so when it comes time to fold it up, first thing you want to do is put up this cool little kickstand. and then push forward. Take your hand and push forward here, and that'll allow you to unclip that lever right there, and then it comes down and it sets on the ground, and then this clips into this rear brake, which I forgot to go over. Okay, so there's a little piece of plastic over here, so it doesn't really rest on the ground, it rests on a piece of plastic. And so you can see how well it folds up. So let's talk about the brake. This is a brake that you can step on. So in order to unlatch it, you push down on the rear brake, pull it up, and then you'll have to give it a nice push to get it to lock in. Then put back down the kickstand. So on the brake, you use the brake right here, and you can put as much or as little braking. This is regenerative braking, and this is really cool. I like it. So you're getting back some energy. Now this is a mechanical brake, so if you need any even stronger braking, you take your rear foot and you just step on this, and this goes down and slows you down. I've never really had to use this. All right, so now that it's all packed up, it's time to go take it for a road test. Let's go see what this thing can do, what kind of fun we can have. So all you need to do is just click on this next link, and that'll take us to the next video for the road test.